Right. Morning. How is everybody today? Are you alright, Muffin? You alright, Coco? It's a bit of a slow start. Still a bit gloomy. It's we've got freezing fog. This is what I've been telling people now for months. Please, if you're watching my videos, can you go onto Google and just type in the grand solar minimum? Also, there's another very good website, YouTube channel called Adapt 2030. 2030 is in numerics, Adapt is in letters. It's basically explaining what's happening with the weather. Weather, I know this is controversial, but global warming and CO2 is a complete lie. It's to do with taking money off us and taxing us and blah blah blah. It's actually getting colder. We're going through a cycle. You can go back hundreds and hundreds of years. The Maunder minimum, the Little Ice Age. It's basically periods of non-activity on the sun. Activity on the sun, like sunspots and things, directly affects our weather. So not having no activity on the sun creates more cloud cover here, which creates real problems with the weather. Completely random weather cycles all over the globe. And it's been happening now for quite some time. We're already quite far into the decline of this. So if you just type in crop losses, you know, basically what's happening is the weather's completely mucked up around the globe. We're going to lose a lot of our crops. Major plagues happen in this sort of time period as well because the weather's really bad. You can also go back, and every time there was one of these weather anomalies like that we're going through now, that's only going to get worse over the next few years, major civilian upheaval happens because there's no food, people migrate, there's plagues and things like that. I know it sounds very dramatic, and that's you think you would have been told about something like that about to happen in England, you know, at least to sort of prepare and stuff. But I think if you've been watching the weather, what's the date today? It was the 24th of January 2017. If you watch the weather today, or global weather, don't just watch British weather, go on the internet and have a look and type in weather. You'll see what horrendous weather is around the world, like most of Europe's. Italy's under like 14 foot snow. It's only going to get worse. You need to prepare, keep food stored away. The prices are going to go absolutely through the roof because all of the crop products like wheat and rice and, you know, different things that are grown in different areas around the globe, those areas are now suffering such terrible weather changes that the crops are all dying, which means there's going to be not enough food, which means the prices are going to go up. It says in the Bible, at the end of the days, the prices of things are going to go up. Like a loaf of bread, it's going to cost a day's wage and things. And I can see that that's actually going to start happening because the weather is killing off all the plants and crops. So you're going to have to start growing your own food if you can. If not, store up as much as you can. Warm blankets. I don't think it's just going to be an ice age type thing. I think it's going to be everything. Like we've got fog at the minute. It's going to be sort of a damp, murky, high cloud cover, lack of sunlight. That's another reason why the crops are going to go bad, and we're going to lose a lot of nutrition from our food because they're not going to get the rays from the sun, which, you know, they turn into sugars and things. So I suggest storing lots of food. Long-term store, pasta, rice, sugar. You know what I mean. I'll probably go on about this later. How many minutes are we here? 4 minutes. I am really sorry, but I just thought I'd say something. Anyway, please do your own research. Just honestly, go into YouTube and type in Adapt 2030. Give the man an hour of your time. Watch some videos. Learn something. He's not a lunatic. He's just telling you things that the mainstream media won't tell you because it doesn't benefit them. Anyway, I'm turning into a conspiracy theorist here, but it's all true. You just got to Google it up. They're not going to spoon feed you this information. You have to look after yourselves. Right, here we go, monkeys. After the lecture, we are on Leviticus 40, 50, 16. I'm going to go and get a drink. Wait there. Oh no, I've got one. Lidl's energy drink, 30p a can. Not sponsored. Highly recommended. Delicious. I'll give you a quick sweep of the dogs and then we must crack on. I've spent a lot of time waffling today. It's really important stuff though, and I do worry about it greatly, because trying to convince people that only get their information from mainstream sources, that the mainstream media doesn't have their best interests at heart, is sometimes quite hard, because that sort of realization is life-shattering to some people. And they also don't want to worry about things that they're not super interested in, like, but oh, stop going on. Stop going on, Matt. It's Bible time. Sorry, Lord. I do waffle. My God is good to me. He points all these things out, and I'm basically just trying to pass on some of this information. The Lord was good enough to let me see it. Now I've got to try and get the message across. Anyway, I go on, don't I? Right, here we go. Leviticus 16. Thank you. And the Lord spake unto Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered before the Lord, and died. And the Lord said unto Moses, Speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat, whereas upon the ark, that he die not, for I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place, with a young bullock for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and shall be girded with the linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are holy garments, therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord, to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering, that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all their sins, and so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out, and have made an atonement for himself, and for his household, and for all the congregation of Israel. And he shall go out unto the altar that is before the Lord, and make an atonement for it, and shall take of the blood of the bullock and of the blood of the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle of the blood upon it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it and hallow it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he hath made an end of reconciling the holy place, and the tabernacle of the congregation, and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions and all their sins, putting them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities unto a land not inhabited, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth, and offer his burnt offering, and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. And the fat of the sin offering shall he burn upon the altar. And he that let go the goat for the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward come into the camp. And the bullock for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement for the atonement in the holy place, shall one carry forth without the camp, and they shall burn in the fire their skins and their flesh and their dung. And he that burneth them shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. And this shall be a statute for ever unto you, that in the 7th day, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls, and do not work at all, whether it be one of your own country, or a stranger that sojourneth among you. For on that day shall the priest make an atonement for you, to cleanse you, that ye may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. It shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. And the priest, whom he shall anoint, and whom he shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead, shall make an atonement, and shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments. And he shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation, and for the altar, and he shall make an atonement for the priests, and for all the people of the congregation. And this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as the Lord commanded Moses. It's alright, isn't it? So, right. Bit of Googling. Get on the Google. I'll talk to you tomorrow.